No lead, no silverhand, no one. You are alone. All alone.
Project Cynosure is the not-so-secret project that was going to be Militech's answer to Arasaka's Soulkiller program. There's a lot we could talk about here. The lore of the project runs quite deep, but today our focus is not on the lore. I chose 3 of the most interesting questions about Project Cynosure that will allow us to navigate the insane hidden plot that most people tend to miss. The connection made by these 3 questions cover Bree, Whitney, Lisa Smith, Songbird, and the Blackwall. Netwatch has a dirty secret hidden in the Cynosure bunkers. Did you miss it? Okay, so in the Cynosure bunker, while you're being chased, there's a slight disorientation that happens. The music doesn't do you any favors either, because it can get quite scary. With all of these things happening, it's hard to stop and think about the gig shot by both sides. I'll go into detail why this gig is massively important and how it leads us to Netwatch's dirty little secret. For now, let's jump to the end of the gig. At the end, you're given a choice, either protect Bree or let Dante, the agent, kill her. I used to side with Bree and kill Dante before, but the information I found out made me change that strategy. A few days after killing Dante, Netwatch sends assassins to take you out. This always felt weird to me. Cynosure was a Militech project, right? This was Militech's answer to Soulkiller, the Manhattan Project, Blackwall Edition. While Arasaka and Soulkiller were focused on capturing human engrams, Militech was going to dominate by capturing rogue AIs instead. This was what was told to us. If that's the case, why is Netwatch all of a sudden sending their agents to take us out? Why do they care so much? Is it that they want to kill anyone who has knowledge about Blackwall projects? Maybe, but maybe something else is going on here. After spending a few hours in the game, this is what I found. The reason why Netwatch sends agents to try and kill V, the true reason why they're obsessed with keeping this entire project a secret, is because they were directly involved in it. And to them, the world can't know that Netwatch, the corporation tasked with protecting humanity, was directly involved in helping Militech poke the Blackwall. Even worse, it was directly assisting Militech to capture rogue AIs inside neural matrices and use them in modified weapons like the Erebus. You can find an unfinished prototype of a neural matrix in the same room you find the Erebus gun in. Next time you're in the bunkers, stop and look at the signs above each room. When Bree Whitney said the following sentence, she had no idea how much worse the situation actually was. Netwatch was not just giving mega corporations free rein, they were actively assisting Militech.
Look, if it mattered, would have been old news years ago.
Kidding me? You hear about Soulkiller? Now imagine a similar project, only Militech's pushing the buttons. These things change the world. And not for the better. At least not for people like us.
Like other peeps haven't tried to contact Blackwall AIs. Failing to see the big break there.
Look, Voodoo Boys poking at the Blackwall is one thing, but one of the world's most powerful megacorps weaponizing a wild AI? Infinitely worse. When people learn Netwatch is busy hunting ordinary Joes while giving the megacorps free rein, imagine the outcry.
That's not the end of the story though. If we decide to side with Dante and we let him cook Bree, we'll get a shard that is the last piece of the puzzle. He's the actual hidden plot of the gig shot by both sides. Bree Whitney is an investigative journalist who's going through the struggle. She's broke and she needs some eddies. A surefire way to get eddies is to write hit pieces for corporations, so she begins doing this for Militech. The basic idea here is to write articles that look like hardcore, impartial investigations, but that are actually written in a way that will benefit Militech. That would be the equivalent of finding out that every single investigation that CoffeeZilla has ever done was done so as to benefit Goldman Sachs or Bank of America. Going back to Bree, The more she worked with Militech, the more access she got to their archives and former employees. Eventually, she ended up finding information and documents about Project Cynosure. She offered these to Netwatch because she thought that Netwatch would thank her, pay her, and perhaps even punish Militech somehow. Bree was genuinely trying to be a better person. Inside her bedroom, you can find a shard that she'd been reading labeled The Art of Self-Control, 10 Rules for Becoming a Better You. It's safe to assume that after working for corporates for so long, she grew a conscience. Netwatch is after all known for being the protector of humanity against rogue AIs. This was the natural choice for her. At first, Netwatch did pay her, but since she told Netwatch the name of the quantitative analyst who helped her get the data on Cynosure, Netwatch killed him. Cesar Mejares is the name of the quant that helped Bree initially.
Can see those gears churning now. Yeah. Bree worked for Militech.
That true?
Yes. Took the gigs because that meant I got access to their archives. You gotta believe me. He knows I'm close. He wants to stop me.
Another failure to communicate. You don't know my mind, but I sure as hell know yours, Bree. A flag in the wind's what you are. Whose pocket are you in right now? Arasaka? Netwatch? That quant you were pulling intel from. Cesar Mejares. You know they zeroed him, right?
Well, Caesar managed to breach one of the data forts. He found fragments of some outdated code. Command controls for a weapon, perhaps? All we need now is an AI to merge its findings. Lisa will probe the Blackwall for any potential gateways. Huh? Oh, right. Day 39. Thanks, Lisa.
Militech ended up finding out that Bree had stolen the secret data and she was selling it to some other corp, so they sent Dante to take her out. Militech doesn't know that she's selling the data to Netwatch. Netwatch, on the other hand, wants Bree alive. Netwatch needs Bree to collect all evidence of their involvement in Project Cynosure, collect the names of anyone who's still alive who can testify against Netwatch, bring that evidence back, and then they promise Bree a new identity and enough money to start a new life somewhere else. We can even see that Bree made an attempt at packing her suitcase before running away from her apartment. Was Bree Whitney ever going to get her reward from Netwatch? Bree believed that the deal with Netwatch was solid, but it was never going to happen. After Netwatch had deleted all evidence of their involvement in Project Cynosure, they were going to kill Bree. She just didn't know it yet. The following shard is dropped by a Netwatch agent after you complete the quest. The use of the word they in that final sentence is not referring to multiple people, but simply to the fact that V can be either male or female. So CDPR played it safe and just used they instead of he or she. This shard is dropped by a Netwatch agent that you kill after completing the quest while keeping Bree Whitney alive. Okay, knowing all this, the name of the quest makes a lot more sense. Shot by both sides. It doesn't matter how you slice it, Bree was always going to get shot by both sides. Who is Lisa Smith and how is she connected to Bree, Cynosure, Songbird, and the Blackwall? We all know that Project Cynosure was shut down 50 days after being reopened. The real reason as to why it was shut down is a lot scarier than you think. The story of Lisa Smith will be useful in explaining this. In 2068, Project Cynosure was reopened by Militech. Senior research specialist on site was Evan McRae.
Yeah. Okay, it's recording. Senior research specialist Evan McRae. This is day 3 of our expedition. We've moved some equipment to the bunker. The old rail system remains largely functional. They might have used it to transport heat exchangers from the lab once upon a time. There is a mountain of old research here. I'll see if we can find a use for any of it.
Evan's core team consisted of multiple unnamed netrunners, researchers, Lisa Smith, Cesar Mejares, and Evan himself. Cesar Mejares was tasked with breaking available data forts, and he did manage to uncover command controls for a weapon.
To breach one of the data forts, he found fragments of some outdated code. command controls for a weapon, perhaps? All we need now is an AI to merge its findings.
Going back to Lisa Smith, she explains what life was like in the Cynosure bunkers. While they were down there, they had no help, so no janitors to clean the bathrooms, no cooks, etc. The only help they had appears to be with laundry. They could send clothes to get cleaned off-site. The researchers had to do all the other things themselves. And at one point, Lisa gets so upset that the netrunners and researchers who live down there with her kept taking massive shits in the bathroom and not cleaning up after themselves. This is an angry note she left for them that can be found in one of the Cynosure bathrooms. I know we're not here to win the Swedish Academy Award for keeping our shit clean. I know we're all super important scientists at the top of our respective fields and that nobody wants to scrub a fucking toilet. But come the fuck on. We don't have a cleaning staff here, and unless you feel like sticking to the floor every time you want to use the bathroom, please, please, please clean the toilet after you use it and wipe the floor. Seriously, they told me I'd go fucking nuts sitting on the ground for months on end, but nobody said it was because I'd be stuck down here with a bunch of slobs. Here's the cleaning stuff. It does what it says on the label. You figure it out. Signed, Lisa. 2 European netrunners were later called in to support the core team. Their names were Aurore and Aymeric Cassel. If you ever wondered how the twins got the codes to the neural matrix that Songbird was working on, this is how. There's a reason why I chose Lisa Smith as the main focus. By understanding her, we understand Songbird and her situation much better. Nietzsche once said, whoever fights monsters should see to it that in the process he does not become a monster. And if you gaze long enough into an abyss, the abyss will gaze back into you.
Chip cut our comms, or she woke something up down there that did that for her. And here we are going down, 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 the rabbit hole into the heart of darkness. Tell me you've got a plan.
Gotta get to Somi before the Blackwall does. Save her.
Real noble of you, long as the Blackwall hasn't stripped her to the bone. Because then we'd be walking straight into a trap.
The netrunners, including Lisa Smith, kept diving deep into cyberspace and interacting with entities they did not understand. This includes the Blackwall. They were basically gazing into the abyss on a daily basis. Unlucky for them, the abyss gazed back. They just didn't know this at the time. The symptoms for Lisa began after one of her dives. She describes it like this. Something happened to me yesterday. After a deep dive into cyberspace, they whisked us away for the usual testing. At one point, we got to those weird neurological tests that I always thought were kind of funny, where they ask you questions that make no sense but apparently reveal something about yourself. You're probably familiar with some of them. What is the sound of one hand clapping? What does a mouse running through a maze represent to you? What do you associate with the smell of freshly roasted coffee? And it was at this point that I hesitated because, well, I suddenly realized that I didn't know what coffee tasted like. I know what coffee is, but that's it. Strange, right? The feeling passed when I made myself a cup of strong black coffee, but I have to admit I was a little weirded out. What else have I potentially forgotten? Is it some kind of side effect of my last few deep dives? I doubt it. I doubt it since I've been doing them for years. Anyway, hope you're doing well, Doc. Maybe next time we meet you might have an explanation. Signed, Lisa. This was not the end for Lisa Smith. She kept diving and eventually, without her knowing, things started following her home. The following message is titled Whispers in the Dark. It's from Lisa Smith to Kathleen McCormack, who happens to be her doctor. I'll tell you everything during our session, but I don't know. I just feel better writing to you about this now. I can't give any details, company secrets, NDA, yada yada, but I'm locked in this place and feel like it all started with a ringing in my ear, like a really faint whine. But then within the whine, I started to hear words, Yeah, I know, auditory hallucinations and whatnot. Classic. But at night, when I tried to fall asleep, I'd get the feeling like something was trying to understand me. Something. What exactly? I don't know. I hear it in the monitors, in the cables, the walls, whispers in the dark. Nothing that makes any sense. Do I need new meds? Fresh air? Or maybe I've finally gone cuckoo? Sincerely, Lisa. P.S. Thanks for agreeing to receive these messages. Please don't reply. We'll talk about everything in our session. There are strong suggestions that this thing trying to understand Lisa is the Blackwall. This is how it starts. The more you try to interact with the Blackwall, the more it tries to interact with you, whether you want to or not. Your memories, your personality, everything is affected. And the Blackwall has so much to offer, so much data, so much wisdom, that it becomes irresistible to a normal human being. Like a moth to a flame, Netrunners keep going back and diving just to get another interaction with it. In the end, the Blackwall ends up consuming everything that ever made you human.
Now I can't hear, I can't feel anything. Can you?
Should I? Saw other visions, illusions before this.
Illusions?
Saw you with Reed, Myers. Saw your past. Don't remember?
No. The Blackwall consumes me all. The emptiness grows. I feel it. Fill it with memories. They keep taking them away.
So you hopped on a neural link, used the relic's resources and the core's computing power to, take us to your digital mind palace? This secure? Even remotely safe?
For you, yes. For me, well, one version of me is saving your life. Another is here talking to you. And one more is dying. But it's no mind palace, this.
So me.
Bree. It's good you're here. Second chance. I never really got it, did I?
Save your strength, Somi. Reed'll be here any second. You'll make it through.
No. They'll never let me go. I'm fading, V.
Lisa Smith did survive this nightmare. We know that she's still alive in the year 2077. Project Cynosure ended up being shut down due to the Blackwall opening up more and more and letting rogue AIs pass through, but also, weirdly enough, the Blackwall itself began trying to communicate with some of the scientists and researchers inside the Cynosure bunkers. All of this happened in the span of 50 days. By the end, Evan McRae, Lisa's boss, was actually arguing for the project to go on a little bit longer. The hunger for lost knowledge grew to a point where Militech's research department had to threaten him to make him shut everything down. Here's his conversation with Militech's research department. The title of this is a Watershed Moment. Dr. Evan McRae writes to the Militech's research department, I restate my request. Should we truly pass up on such an extraordinary opportunity, we are on the precipice of a breakthrough. We just need more time. Militech's research department replies, Evan, we discussed this multiple times. The decision has been made. Gather your equipment and evacuate the premises. The situation is unstable and you're perfectly aware. You're not just poking the bear anymore. If we don't bury this underground immediately, we could trigger a crisis that not even your worst nightmares could conjure up. I want to see you all in the office tomorrow, healthy and in one piece. Best regards, JC. Dr. Evan McCrae then replies, 1 week. That's all I ask. We'll do it. The Blackwall will understand us, communicate with us, but we need time to make sense of our communication. Just a few days, please. Militech's research department answers, Dr. McCrae, you have orders. Our plan has not changed. This mission displays telltale signs of carrying too much risk. Please issue an immediate order of evacuation, or I'll be forced to resort to alternate measures. Signed, JC. During the quest shot by both sides, if you side with Bree, Lisa Smith ends up dying. Netwatch kills her because she knew exactly what happened in those bunkers many years ago. The project had to be shut down because we were no longer the ones gazing into the abyss. The abyss was the one gazing into us, probing us, trying to understand what makes us tick before deciding what to do with us. Alright guys, this ended up being a little bit longer than I expected, but if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe. It does mean a lot to me. Take care guys, and I'll see you in the next video.